All right, today we are diving into one of the most epic stories ever told. I mean, it's this incredibly powerful story of judgment, of unwavering faith, and ultimately the promise of a brand new beginning. We're talking about a world washed clean and the one family chosen to survive it all. Wow. It all kicks off with this absolutely staggering divine degree. I mean, can you just imagine a world that has gone so far off the rails, so lost, that its very creator is filled not just with anger, but with this profound grief? This isn't just a threat, it's a statement of deep sorrow, and it really sets the stage for a cataclysm unlike anything the world had ever seen. So, you have to ask, right? What could possibly lead to such a drastic, world-altering decision? Let's take a closer look at the state of the world at that time that would call for a measure like this. Well, according to our source, this was the reality. On the surface, people were just living their lives, they were working, getting married, building cities, but underneath that whole veneer of normalcy, humanity's heart was described as being just consumed by evil and corruption. The world was, in a word, broken. And yet, in a world that was basically drowning in all this darkness, there was the single point of light, a man named Noah. He's presented as the one and only exception, a guy who, against all odds and, let's be real, some overwhelming cultural pressure, just kept walking on a righteous and faithful path. So with the fate of the entire world pretty much sealed, this one righteous man is given this incredible, almost unbelievable mission. Let's see exactly how this whole thing unfolds. And here it is. This is the pivotal moment. God speaks directly to Noah. And it's not just to warn him about the destruction that's coming, but to reveal that Noah himself is the key to humanity's survival. He's the one chosen to be the agent of salvation in a world that's been marked for judgment. And this mission? It comes with a very specific, divine blueprint. This isn't just, hey, go build a boat. No, it's a detailed architectural plan. The exact material, the waterproofing with pitch, the multi-level structure. Every single detail is meticulously laid out for this massive vessel of preservation. And to really get a sense of the sheer scale of this project, think about this. 300 cubits. What does that even mean? Well, that's roughly 450 feet or 1.5 football fields long. This was not just some simple boat. It was an enormous, floating sanctuary that was going to demand immense effort and, of course, just unwavering faith to build. Noah wasn't just facing an engineering challenge. He was up against a huge social and psychological one, too. Just try to imagine the scene. Here's a guy building a gigantic ship, miles and miles from any sea. The source tells us people just ridiculed him constantly. His faith wasn't some private belief. It was a public spectacle, and it was being tested by mockery every single day. But Noah persevered. He stuck with it. The ark was finally finished, his family and the animals were brought on board, and then, just as promised, the moment of judgment arrived. So there's this final 7-day grace period that passes in total silence, and then the cataclysm begins. For 40 days and 40 nights, it's not just rain pouring from the sky, but the fountains of the great deep actually burst open from below. The waters just rise and rise and rise, relentlessly for 150 days, until the entire world is completely submerged. And then you have this terrifying climax. The ark, once this object of total mockery, becomes the only refuge as it lifts up on the rising waters. Everything else, cities, mountains, all life that had breath, is just washed away. The world is wiped clean, leaving only the occupants of the ark floating over the silent global ocean. After months and months afloat, the waters finally begin to recede. But the ordeal isn't over yet. Noah now has to find a sign, any sign, that life has a chance to begin all over again. The first attempt is with a raven, a strong, scavenging bird. You can think about it like a reconnaissance mission, but the result is, well, it's inconclusive. The bird just flies back and forth, this dark shape over a gray, watery world, completely unable to find a single dry spot to land. So next, Noah sends out a dove, a symbol of peace. Hope probably rises as it flies out, but pretty soon it returns, having found absolutely nothing. The tension inside that ark must have been just immense. The quiet waiting, just wondering if they would ever set foot on solid ground ever again. And then you have this beautiful, quiet moment of triumph. 7 days later, the dove is sent out again. But this time, it returns not empty-beaked, but with a fresh olive leaf. It's the ultimate symbol of hope. It's proof that trees are growing, that land has reappeared, that life has in fact returned to the earth. So as Noah, his family, and all the animals finally step out onto this damp, clean earth, a whole new chapter begins. And this isn't just a continuation of the old world, it's a fundamental resetting of the entire relationship between God and humanity. This right here, this is the heart of the new beginning, a solemn promise. It's an acknowledgement that, yeah, humanity's heart can still tend toward evil, but the response will no longer be total destruction. It's a truly profound declaration of mercy that is going to define the future of the world. So, this new covenant is laid out with really clear terms: the promise of security from a global flood, the guarantee of nature's rhythms, seed time and harvest, summer and winter, a promise of stability in a world that had known complete chaos. And of course, the mandate to begin again. And as a permanent reminder, a warrior's bow is hung in the clouds, the rainbow, a sign that the battle is over and that peace will remain. And so the story of Noah comes to a close, but our source material leaves us with this final, really thought-provoking question. It kind of connects the physical arc of the past to a more spiritual concept for us today, asking us to consider, where is true safety and salvation found in our own time? A really powerful idea that echoes far, far beyond the ancient flood.